After successfully banishing a traitor, a faithful's reaction afterwards leads to their own banishment from the game. The euphoria of last night's banishment of a traitor didn't last long. Questions quickly arose from the Round Table's events, sparking new suspicions about who the other traitors might be. Unfortunately, some of these suspicions were misdirected, creating a tense and chaotic atmosphere among the players. Before diving deeper into that, Dan and Matt had a critical decision to make after Lauren, a fellow traitor, was banished. They chose to murder rather than seduce, which I believe was their best move. Reducing the faithful's numbers while regrouping could create confusion among the faithful and potentially redirect suspicion. This strategy aimed to destabilize the faithful and provide Matt and Dan with an opportunity to manipulate the narrative. Dan and Matt selected Kristen as their latest victim, though they also considered Anna and Justine. Whether this was the best choice is debatable, but it certainly raised questions among the faithful. The decision to target Kristen was influenced by various factors, including previous voting patterns. One key point was that Vander had voted for Kristen. It often seems too obvious to murder someone who was voted for previously, and this was noted by Kings during the general conversation and later by Brody at the Round Table. Brody defended Vander, sensing a pylon similar to what happened to Robbie in the previous Round Table. Quick pause here to laugh at Paul's intro when he says strangers.
A group of complete strangers from across New Zealand.
This group is anything but strangers. Many of them have known each other for years. Brooke even mentioned how Mike introduced him to his wife. This long-standing familiarity adds a unique dynamic to the game, as players could read each other's tells and nuances more easily. Knowing each other well started benefiting the faithful. Sam noticed a change in Lauren, and now Brooke's friendship with Dan could be Dan's undoing. Brooke clearly senses Dan's discomfort and suspects him of being a traitor. However, Brooke has only voiced this in his VT and knows it will be challenging to convince others due to Dan's popularity. Brooke's dilemma highlights the complex interplay of personal relationships and game strategy. Matt isn't free from suspicion either. His name has come up a few times. Dan and Matt have different strategies. While Dan is more reserved, Matt's approach is more on the clueless side, which could either work in his favour or backfire spectacularly. Despite the suspicions, neither Dan nor Matt were the main targets for the second banishment. Questions arose about those who didn't vote for Lauren and why Lauren voted for Dylan instead of Robbie, who was a frontrunner for the first banishment. This became a focal point for debate amongst the faithful, further complicating the situation. These votes were discussed at the Round Table with Colin, Matt and Vander explaining their choices. Suspicion towards Vander was high, but the Round Table discussions worked in her favour. Brody's defence of Vander may not have swayed many, but Brooke's observation that Vander didn't have to defend Mike, as it would have been an opportunity to keep the focus off her while the heat was on Mike. Even Colin, who had been vocal about his belief that Vander was a traitor, stated he believed she was faithful. This change of opinion didn't sit well with everyone and introduced new tensions. Colin's shift in stance was a pivotal moment as it revealed the ever-changing landscape of trust within the game. Dylan was the first to highlight Mike's reaction after Lauren's banishment, which became a deciding factor for many. In these games, small reactions can become pivotal. Mike's response was scrutinised under a magnifying glass, and what seemed like a minor detail snowballed into a major point of contention. Philly and Kings didn't vote for any of the discussed names and instead voted for Julia, a move the traitors could exploit at a later time. The majority voted to banish Mike. After this, instead of murdering another faithful, Dan and Matt chose to seduce. They considered Anna, Brooke, and Kings, ultimately deciding to seduce Brooke. This move unknowingly benefits Dan, as Brooke suspects Dan. By seducing Brooke, Dan and Matt aim to sway the game in their favour, leveraging Brooke's influence while mitigating the immediate threat he posed. This episode highlights the unpredictable nature of the game and how the small things can end up being seen as bigger than they actually are. Stay tuned as the drama continues to unfold.